talk about the GST rates as we have been telling you. The management at Blue Star is now with us. Mr. B. Tyagarajan, Joint MD at Blue Star, as well as Mr. Adesh Gupta, CEO at Liberty Shoes, is joining us. Mr. Tyagarajan, let me start with you. Does that come in, does this relief come in as a big surprise for a lot of consumer durable items?
Good morning. Thank you for talking to me. I do not think that we are fully satisfied. The air conditioners, the rate has not been reduced. It has been a long pending demand, if not for all the air conditioners. We wanted at least the 5-star and inverter air conditioners to be brought under 18%. Or alternatively, I have been saying for air conditioners consumed by educational institutions or the hospitals, we should go ahead and reduce the GST rate. It did not take place. At the same time, I am happy that for the deep freezers and the cold chain or the cold rooms, the rate has been reduced. It is a welcome move.
Gupta, what will be your first reaction for the footwear space?
Hello?
Mr. Gupta, what will be your first reaction for the reduction in the footwear space?
Well, it's a great news. Let me first of all, at the outset, would like to thank the Finance Minister, the GST Council, and, for addressing the concern of this sector where, the GST rates were dual rates of 5% and 8%, and the MRP slab has been increased from 500 to 1,000 now, which is in the ambit of 5%. I think it's a great news for the sector because our sector is highly, unorganized, and, 80 to 90% of the industry is, in an unorganized sector. As a result of which, the organized sector had to pay a lot of, tax rate, which is higher than the normal. And as a result, the competitive edge was not there. I think it's a great news, and the whole industry, on behalf of the council, I would like to thank, the Finance Minister for this great, relief given to the industry.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Nayantara joining in from the New Delhi studio. I'm going to come to you first, Mr. Adesh Gupta. You thanked the GST Council for a rate cut. So in the interest of your shareholders and your consumers, by when can we expect to see price cuts being introduced by Liberty Shoes, if they are indeed? What kind of a price cut are we talking about? And how real is the fear that you will also have to fight the cheap Chinese imports? Are you hoping the government will supplement this with maybe an anti-dumping duty or some kind of a higher import duty on footwear?
Well, let me put it this way, Nayantara, thank you for calling me, on this channel. The industry, as I mentioned earlier, is unorganized sector, 90%, and due to which, the organized sector had to pay heavy amount of taxes. Reducing the tax to 5% will definitely, move the consumer from the unorganized sector who is not paying taxes or paying low taxes to the organized sector. If from the Liberty perspective, we have almost about 20%, market share or 20% share in our top line, where, between 500 to 1,000 rupees, you see there will be a great traction as, the season is coming, the festival season is coming. So we see there is a volume growth may happen, in this particular price category. And, on the other hand, the imports from China are growing rapidly because when, the shoes are coming under-invoiced. So we have also requested the government, to look at, how they can, tax the distribution floor rate, where, minimum price should be imposed upon importing the shoes into India, because the average import price is $1.50, whereas, the actual price is around $5. So we have also requested the government to put some anti-dumping duty that will hit, the imports and, discourage the imports and will promote Make in India. So I think it's time that, the government has understood that the sector has a low revenue impact and a high impact on jobs and also on the revenues. So I think this issue or this particular, let's say, correction which the government has done will continue further, and our other issues which we are also highlighting to the government should be addressed in due course.
Sandeep Chalana from the taxation partner at Shadil Amarchand also joining us via Skype. Good afternoon, Sandeep. Before I just come to you, I just want to ask Mr. Tyagarajan the same question I posed to Liberty, and that is, Mr. Tyagarajan, you've already said enough has not been done. You're clearly not as happy as the footwear industry. Having said that, have you, all of you also requested the government for an anti-dumping duty from China? Is that needed so that the consumers in the end get to enjoy the GST rate cut? And by when will we see price cuts? Mr. Tyagarajan, can you hear me?
I am very happy that the shoes industry, for which he has been advocating, quite a few things have happened. And as far as deep freezers and cold rooms are concerned, the reduction is welcome. We will pass it on to the consumers right away. We have to only see the transition rules, what they say. But our intention is to pass on the full benefit so that the market grows. Coming back to the imports, already the government has gone ahead with a notification on the non-tariff barriers, like QCO it is called, the Quality Control Order. So there is going to be an increasing regulation with regard to the imports that are coming in. But as a company, Blue Star is fast indigenizing through a vertical integration program. Our expansion R&D investments are in the area of backward integration. So I don't think there is a need for an anti-dumping duty also, because as Indian manufacturer, we are able to compete through our own developed products. What we need is the scale. If the government can help the market to grow, then it will be very easily possible for us to become globally competitive. So this is all my request is the government should focus on helping the market to grow in India. Air conditioners is a necessity today, so therefore they should focus on how we can grow the market. The technology is not a big thing for us at all. It is the scale which will make us competitive or make the Indian industry competitive.
Right, just request you to stay on with us, sir. Let's get in a tax expert as well. Sandeep is now with us. Sandeep, what do you make of these changes that have come in after 1 year of implementation? Do you think a lot more products will be changed going ahead in the next 6 to 12 months as further implementation challenges are revisited into various sectors?
So, Pankaj, the underlying vision that comes out clearly from this change is that the government has realized that the 28% tax category is to be restricted to only thin goods or very few goods. Now, after this change, only 35 items would remain in the 28% category. So that policy-wise is a great move. I think it is high time that most of the goods which do not deserve to get qualified under the luxury or thin items should move back to the 18% category or a lower category. As far as the rate changes are concerned, we have to really look at the notification, because not all, say for example, not all televisions have been exempted. Only television up to a certain centimeter have been exempted, and these are all primarily small televisions. So this is the policy-wise, it is an important move. I think in going forward, we will see a lot of goods would come out from 28% category and would be under the lower category. On the question raised by Nayantara with respect to anti-dumping duty. As far as the goods where the rate of tax has been lowered, I don't think that merely because there has been a tweak in the GST rate, there would be an impact on the competition between the foreign players and the domestic players. But as far as the goods which have been exempted is concerned, say for example, sanitary napkins. Now, what happens is for the domestic players, there are various GST inputs which they are procuring from market and paying GST on them. And there is no credit now because these goods are exempt. So obviously those taxes would get stuck in the system. Whereas for a foreign supplier, there is no such cost of inputs. These are zero-rated products in their own jurisdiction. And when they come to India, so it would be cheaper than the domestic production. So therefore, it is very important when you are exempting a good, you have to make sure that it will not negatively impact the domestic manufacturer. And that's what, our FM, Mr. Jaitley was saying in last few press conferences. So now for those sectors, we'll have to see what the government will do, whether the government would introduce some tariff measures by increasing the basic custom duty, etc., to make sure that, the consumer is benefited by the nil rate, as well as the domestic industry is not hit because of the cheaper imports.
So in a nutshell, you are in line and you favor the call that, for example, Mr. Adesh Gupta of Liberty Footwear is now talking about, that there is need for supplementary action by the government.
See, absolutely. As I said, for at least for goods which have been completely exempted, there will have to be some counter action with respect to imports to ensure that the rate slash would not have a negative impact on the domestic manufacturers. As far as the reduction of rate is concerned, say for example, shoes, etc., I do not believe that there may be, a direct impact because of the rate reduction to help the foreign suppliers. Uh, but obviously, the government can do a lot of things, as Mr. Tyagra said. The introduction of supply, increase in supply chain, increasing the demand, etc., would be helpful for the industry.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always pleasure talking to you. So that was a tax expert with Liberty Shoes as well as Blue Star, who of course are the companies that will implement these changes that have come in.